This might be loud, so bear with me. Welcome to day 3. Happy that you're here. Safest life I could have ever lived was staying in my hometown. Same streets, same people, same routine, and it would have been easy. Super predictable. I would have gotten an incredible job in the government that paid all my bills and more, and had so much stability in my life. But that safe life would have cost me everything. That safe life would have been the most expensive one. Because safe always feels affordable until you realize what it costs you. It can cost your future, it can cost you your voice, it can cost you your story. And I think deep down you already know that. You can feel it. You look at some people and you wonder, I wonder what my life would have been like if I didn't play small. Every time you silence that idea because you just don't feel ready yet. On the outside, safe looks harmless, but it's actually the most expensive thing that you'll ever choose. When I was 23, I made a decision that genuinely scared me so much. I packed my life in 4 days, 2 suitcases, and a one-way ticket. I was moving across the continent to Los Angeles, a city that I only have seen in the movies. I barely had a plan. I didn't know a single person, and my business at the time was kind of shaky. Something in me knew I had to go, but I was terrified. I was terrified that my visa wouldn't come through, terrified I wouldn't make a single friend, terrified I wouldn't even have enough money to afford a car. And then one night, I was living in Los Angeles, this new city, and it was Christmas Eve. And it was actually the first holiday I spent by myself. And it was tough, I'm not gonna lie. That winter, the only transportation I had was a $200 bicycle I found on Marketplace. And it wasn't pretty. The brakes squeaked, it was pretty rusty, but it was mine, and it's how I got around most of the time. And that day specifically, because I didn't have any family in town, or I didn't really have any friends either, I thought to myself it'd be great to take the bicycle down to Santa Monica and enjoy a sunset. So that evening I went downstairs to grab it, and the rack was empty. At first I thought maybe I parked it somewhere else. I looked on my right, I looked on my left, and there was nothing. Gone. I just froze. And it wasn't about the bike, it was what it meant at the time. It meant that maybe LA wasn't for me. Maybe I made the wrong decision. Maybe I wasn't strong enough to make it work. So that day I went back upstairs and just sat in my little apartment in Inglewood, and I cried. But that night I had 2 choices. Either go home or go all in. You see, a couple weeks before that, it was LA Tech Week. It was the biggest week for creators, founders, entrepreneurs. And there would be like 50 events happening every single day that week. Since I had no transportation, I decided to go rent a car. So I walked into this rental spot called Rent a Wreck. Seriously, it was a beat up car, completely beat up. I mean, it looked like it had already lived 9 lives. The engine rattled when I started it. The air conditioner coughed more than it blew. Like, the whole thing smelled like smoke, and it had like 200,000 miles on it. It was bad. It was really bad, but it moved, and that was enough. I signed up for every single event that week. I walked into rooms where I didn't even know a soul. I shook hands with anyone that would make eye contact with me. And I started conversations with founders, filmmakers, creatives, entrepreneurs, lots of tech founders, investors, anyone who would listen. And the truth is, I was scared every single second. My voice would shake when I introduced myself, but I was very confident. I'd rehearse my pitch before going into every single event. And everybody that knew me during that time knows the pitch I had. And it is, you get a month of content in 4 hours of your time. And everyone, and I'm telling you, everyone I would shake hands would be like, oh, that sounds interesting. And I would do this thing where I would have my Calendly open. And so on the spot, when I would talk to them and they seemed like a right fit and they're looking for content, I'd be like, great, let's just book the call right now. And they'd be like, hold on, this is an event. I was like, yeah, but you know, we're gonna be talking to so many people. Like, why waste the time to follow up? Let's just book the call right now. Are you available next week? They're like, yeah. And so I just had like 20 booked calls from these events, and 20, 50, and they just kept piling up every event I went to. I went all in and I showed up. I showed up anyway. And looking back, that 1 week changed my entire life. And it's the reason why I'm still living in Los Angeles today. Those random handshakes, those messy and uncomfortable introductions, that was the foundation for everything that came after. Clients I signed, the people I met, and the friends, I'm gonna need a whole other video on the friends that I've made. It's priceless. It was only because I showed up, because I didn't go home, and I didn't play it safe. That beat up car drove me right into my future. Safe would have kept me comfortable, but safe would have kept me small. And safe looks different to everyone. Safe will look different to you. Maybe it's your hometown that never changes. Maybe it's a job that pays well but kills your spirit. It could even be a relationship that feels fine, or a dream that you could never chase because the timing just doesn't work. And safe doesn't always look wrong. It just is predictable. It looks like peace, but it's actually paralysis when you think about it. It's that little voice that tells you, well, at least you're not failing. But what it really means is, at least you're not living. Safe looks like control, but it's just fear dressed up in logic. So bold isn't fearless. Bold is trying anyway. Bold is crying in your apartment on Christmas Eve and waking up the next day. Bold is renting a car that coughs up smoke and driving it to your future. Bold is walking into a room full of strangers and introducing yourselves with confidence, even if you don't believe in it yet. Bold doesn't look perfect. Bold is you being alive. And I want you to choose growth over a guarantee. I want you to stop rewarding the end result and start rewarding the person that you're going to become in the process. We all know the end result when you live safe, right? It's super predictable. But you'd never know the result of going after something that's bold. But you do have a glimpse of the person you might become. And that in itself should be greater than the end result of a safe life. So let me ask you, what's your version of safe? Where in your life are you playing it safe? It's a thing that feels right, but it just keeps you small. And whatever it is, you don't have to burn it all down. You just have to take one bold step toward fear. Because every time you do this, you'll get a glimpse of what it's like to really feel alive. Look, this is only day 3 on this challenge, and I can honestly tell you that it took me 2 years to start this. 2 years, and I launched it 2 days ago, and now I have no fear. I'm kind of like, well, I have no choice but to show up. So whatever, I'm gonna do it in the middle of the day at a country mart with a bunch of people around me, whatever. And that's what this whole challenge is about, and I want you to be part of this challenge. And if you're watching these videos, I know there's a little bit of this speaking to you right now. Whatever it is, I want you to start your streak. Comment below, what is one safe thing you're ready to leave behind? And if you feel like it, you can also comment day 3 out of 100. But I'm so grateful that you're here. And remember, we're not here to play it safe. We're here to be bold. And to act bold, you need to be kid brave again. I'll see you tomorrow, 7 a.m.